message for you.
Alright.
Points. Fisher Friday, exactly. He knows what's up.
What's going on, everybody?
You're welcome.
Check our volumes here. I'm not like
I forgot. Whoops, there we go. Ended
What?
my stream. Or I left my Streamlabs on.
Oh, you left it live?
That's alright. Yeah, that's alright. I closed it.
I'm trying to figure out what's a good. I can't really hear the screen. Trying to figure out what's a good. What's up, Trout? Trying to figure out what's a good volume. You want some like a little bit of ambient background music. You can just kind of hear it, but you know, not enough to distract us.
Ah, ambient music.
Yeah, I'm thinking like some like some study music or something. What do you think?
See, I agree. It sounds amazing.
So
Something.
I got this.
See what the viewers want, maybe.
Well, I got this thing. It's called reading music to concentrate, study music, relax music. So
Okay.
I just want to throw that on. Okay. My volume's good on my mic. It looks like you're coming through pretty clear.
Awesome.
Alright, I guess we'll switch over to the study screen.
All right.
Put myself over there that way they can see the move list, and let me get rid of my online box.
Yep.
We've got some people in here, so
Yes.
let me get my my notebook ready, and I guess
Alright, yep.
we can get started, man, and see what he's got in store for us tonight, Mr. Robert James Fisher.
Oh yes.
The GOAT, man.
Exactly. Let's see. So yeah, this game is interesting. It's gonna discuss Zugzwang, I think.
Ooh, I like that.
It's gonna have an imbalance of bishop versus knights. So we're gonna enjoy this game. So let's get it right into it. Oh wait, Fischer is white, so I'm gonna fix that right now.
Okay, look at it from his perspective, right?
And this is Fischer versus Rosetto. I'll type that out actually on the study.
All right.
Fischer. And this is in 1959 in the famous Mar del Plata tournament.
Nice.
And so, Fischer starts out with what do you think he starts out with?
Come on, guys. Let's see it in the chat. Come on. You know this.
It is the best by test, as he always says.
I think he played C4 like twice.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I did hear Fischer played every opening in his career. I'm pretty sure, but
Yeah, but that was his thing, right?
yes. Well, this one, I guess I'll tell it because I mean they probably just can't wait. 24, best by test. Pano, and he resigned at first move is C4. Yep, Virtuos got that one. Yes.
Nice.
So now we've got this Sicilian defense, pawn to queen's bishop 4, 3, and pawn to k3. And so this is the French variation of the Sicilian. Kind of. There's lots of variations.
Yeah, I've seen the C6.
There's the con. It's very solid. I think this is one of the first Sicilians I myself even looked at. Let's see. Sicilian. Sometimes if they play too many light square pawn moves, it could be called the Swiss cheese opening.
Really?
Yeah, because they weaken lots of dark squares. But good merits. Wait. Yes, Khan, exactly. That's with like the A6 sort of setup. And it's that
What?
that's kind of scary. A6, Queen C7, Khan. Maybe they can play Bishop D6. Does actually this is it probably. This might be the Khan part of the book.
What, the Khan?
No, the Sicilian Khan.
Sicilian
So
Khan.
Fischer. Yeah, Sicilian Khan, yeah.
Okay. Write that down. Because I've never
Play-
heard that either.
Yeah, Khan and O'Kelly kind of as a kind of a cousin O'Kelly. Let's see. No, Khan and Taimanov are pretty much the main of this pawn structure. So pawn takes pawn. This is the open Sicilian. And pawn to queen's rook 3. Ah, yeah. So this is the Sicilian Khan, as you can see in the top right corner, like of the title of the thing. Yeah. So, A6, 4, and this is actually I've seen this Maraxi bind setup. Bertrand did play this on the last stream I watched. I remember. So this is really good. Or he has there's a move order you can trick people into this. I think I've seen recently with C3 followed by C4 after pawn takes. So I think that's kind of funny.
Nope.
Like what I've seen, at least for Bertrand, he's got to show us that some other time, that trick he did. But so this, I don't know. Do you know about the Maraxi bind calculated chess or?
I've heard of it. I hear GM Canty talk about it.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know too much other than that, but I know it is this pawn setup right here, right?
Yeah. So like when I first started chess, I was kind of a little obsessed with this kind of setup. Like I mean, because all the greats played it, like Capablanca.
Okay.
Probably every world champion at least has played this at least. So let's see on C4. How would I describe this? Maybe I'll do a hedgehog example. So, knight to queen's bishop 3 is playing the game, but let's say he goes for this kind of setup maybe. Knight C3, and now we've got maybe we'll try maybe or actually knight f6, e2. That's solid. It also comes to mind. So with this Sicilian Khan, or actually no, this is more of a hedgehog kind of.
Like setup.
Yes, setup. So the hedgehog, the setup for black, because black has no weaknesses. With white, yeah, and so. Here's the merits of this kind of pawn structure. White can play for a queenside majority or breakthrough. Also play for maybe f4 5. And there are many different plans for white, but the thing is, because black has no weaknesses, they can timely play d5, e5 to undermine these pawns, or even maybe f5 under some extreme cases.
What is the whole idea behind Maraxi bind? Just having a grip on the center?
To restrict this d5 square right here.
Okay.
And to artificially claim that this d6 pawn is backwards, kind of. And to guarantee like a space advantage. Yes, clamp down d5. And with my experience, black may have some nice ways of counterplay though, so you have to be careful. Like, and the dragon, for instance, with the Maraxi bind. At f3, let's say d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4. Actually, I can't play this way. Let's say accelerated dragon. So g6 or knight f6. So with this setup, black's counterplay is on the dark squares particularly. So maybe he can consider a5, a4, e3 too. Advantage of this rook on the a1 maybe. there are many different setups that this Roxy bind has, and there's different drawbacks for each formation. So like this flexibility. Maybe I can get a game I've had. There's one game in particular where it's one of my best games for Blitz.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get an idea, just because this game, Fischer does use this sort of conceptual Roxy bind. Let's see. I think it was probably lost the game because I've got 300 this person I played.
And this also, you said this was from 1959, right?
Yeah, 1959.
Yeah.
And so the Roxy bind, I think, was very popular, or it started the concept maybe in the 1940s.
Okay.
I want to say. But anyway, so 1966 was played in the game to King's Bishop, or wait, 1966. Now Bishop to. Okay, so this, wait. 1966. I got the moves mixed up. It's Queen to B2 first. So Queen to B2. So this is more of a Sicilian con specialty, Queen C7 here. Knight C6 is a normal move. So Knight C6 is the traditional Sicilian con. So Knight C3 maybe. Traditional kind of here. So with these moves. But with Queen C7, there's somewhat more flexibility. Bishop to D3 here, but I'm going to give an example variation. Let's say Bishop to E2. Let's see. Let's go for this. Happens. This kind of happens. So like, so I think what is it? I think this happens a lot.
Yeah, does Black have to be worried here with the with the king still in the center like that? And...
Oh no, he doesn't have to, because look at that. So this pawn structure is, and maybe you can do some experimenting yourself, right? Like to aggressively keep the king in the center but attack. 3 light square pawns, like they're very solid, and white is not breaking through anytime soon. Ooh. I'm pretty sure. But there are some nice tactical sacrifices, like maybe knight to d5 at some point, knight to b5. That's another typical Sicilian sacrifice. F4, 5 undermined the pawns, but there's 2 pawns supporting this e pawn here. So it's going to take a while to really punish the king in the center. Sometimes play can maybe happen like this. Or actually, then again, with bishop to d6, I did see this idea that Burchard did have in his game along in one of his streams. But here it doesn't particularly work. But this is an idea, I think. Forking this queen and bishop. I think after castles, maybe like... I've seen some games where there's been some sacrifices on e5 or something.
Alright.
Knight coming to g4. Craziness. But Fischer just plays bishop to d3. He, in his variations, he claims that pawn to queen's rook 3 is most precise here. So if knight to b3,
it's just such a strange setup to see.
Yes.
I mean, the white king just, to me, to me, it just looks like the white king is just, I don't know, just around the white king is like real open looking. I don't know.
Oh, the white king, you're right. It's, so that's the thing with space advantages. Like, you can gain, like, more of the board. Like, you can control 4th line territory. This is, there's more holes and extend. Sometimes those weaknesses can be taken advantage of.
So it's like you're always, so in chess, it's like you're always getting something and giving something.
Exactly. And so, for example, maybe I can show you this typical formation. Let's go for this typical French thing. Issue. Just for a quick, like, I mean, you can take. But, okay, yes, here's one issue here. So because white pushed this e-pawn up one, this f5 square became weak. sometimes even this e4 square can be jumped in. So, like with these expansion of squares, you leave behind some weaknesses with pawns, and pawns cannot go backwards. So, like this e-pawn, if it can go back to e4 and kick that knight, that would be pretty cool. But that's definitely an issue with these things. So it's good for you pointing that out.
I always hear the term overextended pawn.
Yeah, and actually, I think in 2015, Magnus was going through some overextension sort of habit.
Oh yeah.
Where yeah, like where he kept like really going for it, like trying to put pressure on his opponents. I think Maurice actually described his chess as not very smooth during that time.
Okay.
Remember the tournament he described that, and that's when Magnus was trying to like maybe attack and gain space, but
Like
he overextended, and then his opponent took advantage of that.
Yeah, do you think he was like trying like new things, or he was like trying
Maybe.
to throw them off?
I don't know. I think let's see. Fischer studied a lot of Larson,
Okay.
so maybe he was just being too creative. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, so a3 preventing like bishop to b4 with pressure on this e-pawn in center was most precise given by Fischer here.
Man, it's crazy.
It's this move actually forces black to adopt a more modest setup.
Okay.
Like maybe pawn on d6 or something. So I'll show you an example. Maybe bishop e2 would be played. Bishop e2. Oh wait, actually, yeah. Actually, I think I played the wrong knight. So a3, knight to here. Maybe we'll say knight to c3, bishop here, castles. Pawn to d6. And so this structure is what is most natural if Fischer has played a pawn to a3. That's again what I've kind of shown with the clamp on d5. Welcome, Crab Chess.
Hey, top of the morning to you, brother. Welcome to the show.
Yep.
Or not? Well, it's 8:23 p.m. Here. So it is night.
Oh yeah, so yeah, it's night.
It's night.
I guess to be exact.
It's a chess Comet.
Yep.
Special guest. It's in the title.
We're just going over some Bobby Fischer games. So this is game 5 of the My 60 Memorable Games book between Fischer versus Rossetto. And you came at a good time, Crab Chess, because we just started the game.
Literally just started.
We're looking at some of the, we're looking at some of these ideas of this setup with the Roxy bind. Yep.
So Moscatel says, is that a good night or a bad night?
He's.
Is that like a little pun or something? Because we were just talking about night.
It's kind of very humid, at least where I am. Like I don't know how it is in Philly.
Oh my god!
But it's like it's been really hot lately.
It was 94 today with humidity made it feel like 106. It's gonna be even hotter tomorrow.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe bad night or a good night. I mean, depends on your perspective.
Feels good right now.
Yeah, it's good right now. So yeah, this is what could have happened. Maybe White can toy with queenside expansion ideas. I haven't shown some of those ideas, but like, well, it's kind of hard to. But sometimes White can get a passed pawn on the queen side if Black is not careful and if Black is too passive. Oh, nosebleeds, yeah, with the heat, exactly. So dry. So back to the game though. Let's see. So wait, I'll just do a recap actually. E4, C5 Sicilian defense, knight to king's bishop 3, pawn to k3, q4, pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, 3, pawn to queen's bishop 4, queen to b2, knight to queen's bishop 3 was played first. That's what I missed. And then because it's slightly unnatural of development, I think. Oh, well, let's see. In my experience, I think there is a way, and GM can't actually. There's a way to get similar positions, or there's different ways and different structures. GM Candy plays an anti-Sicilian against the Sicilian. Yeah, at any level, at some point, you definitely have to learn something against the Sicilian, because I think it's the most popular opening I've faced versus E4. Like, in general, too, it's probably the most popular opening.
Okay.
And so, E4, C5, I think knight to F3, D6. There are some anti-Sicilians. I think C3 here is what GM Canty plays.
Oh, and he does say that, doesn't he? He always says the C3 Sicilian, right?
Yeah, he recommends it a lot. And it's very offbeat for many Sicilian players, and I think this is probably why I kind of quit the Sicilian for myself. I play like the Nimzovich variation, and so there's some interesting with this, like say bishop E2. I think I have to play like knight to C6 or something. There's lots of traps in the system here. Fully. Because if you take the pawn, check. I mean, the C3 Sicilian has traps, and it's definitely something. Or even E4, C5, B3. This is the Snyder Sicilian. And this is, I've seen many people play this, and it's got its own theory. Oh yeah, you're muted, I think.
No, I was muted earlier. I was
looking at the comments. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. For me, I actually go right into the theory, which you can do, but it's not to be recommended. Like, I just play straight up D4, like most people.
Yeah, that's the normal move, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can do it whenever. Many people will tell you different things. The big disadvantage is you have to know lots of theory if you play this way.
Before he was in jail?
Someone is? Oh boy.
No, he said I used to play the Snyder Sicilian before I found out the effort was in jail.
Oh wow, that's funny. Yeah, Snyder. It's very interesting. I like it. It's you have one of the books. That's good. It's a Moscatel. Yeah, he's probably the expert on this. That's good. We've got a Snyder person.
It's funny because I see this move, this B3 move, and then fan kettle on the bishop.
On this on light chess
at my level.
Oh yeah, your level too. Wow, it works.
They played a lot.
Works.
And I was like, I didn't know what it was called. I was wondering what the hell they were doing. Like, it didn't seem to make sense to me.
I don't know if it's named after the real Dean Snyder or if it's like some Snyder. I don't know. Or the rock guy, right? Oh, you had one of your books. The guy would give up private lessons.
Oof.
Boy. That's crazy, Moscatel. Wow.
Well, that's a story. Snyder.
It's an interesting setup. Like analysis. E4, C5, knight F3. Hello, how's it going? How you doing, Andy? Well, pretty good. So there's this canal attack. That's also an idea. Kasparov versus Ivanchuk is a game that comes to mind. So, wait, actually D4 here. So this is Kasparov Ivanchuk, and actually here, Kasparov played this and had an immortal game. I can post the link.
Yeah, go ahead and post that.
Or well, at some point, probably not now, but that's what comes to mind. This Ivanchuk game.
Kolowski attack.
It's like, this is actually what happens in the game. Ivanchuk gives up both bishops.
Check.
I think it was bishop takes. or something. Or actually h6 first. So this is like what happened in that game, and here I think Venture kind of blew Kasparov off the board. That's crazy, Moscatel, dang. Wow. But at some point you'll think of something, I guess. I guess we'll just go back to the game though. Teaching chess in Belize. Oh man.
Pretty crazy. He breaks
so
out of
see.
jail to go teach chess.
Yeah.
You know?
It's definitely something though. So knight to b3 here. And so Fischer plays bishop to k3 here. So I wonder, let's see. Oh yeah, so he's gonna play bishop b4, I think, at some point. Oh yeah, so this I think was a mistake by the opponent.
Now we're back to the Fischer game, right, Comet?
Yep, back to the main line.
Now
so,
I like this setup now. Now that I see him in like more developed, I like his center setup here. It looks pretty strong.
Yeah, but Fischer was afraid of this move, knight to e, attacking these two the c4 pawn.
Okay.
So the issue is it just concretely runs into some trouble. Bishop 1 indirectly defending the c4 pawn. Now if castles, knight, queen's knight to knight 5. Black has a ready-made attack on the king, and he can do the fishing pole tactic with h5 maybe. So if we go back, let's say, so rook c1. Oh yeah, let's say I guess bishop to k2, knight takes bishop on. Example here, queen's rook to b1, queen to knight 5, attacking here. It doesn't really give white much because black is still solid and has no weaknesses. So it's he's got these moves like bishop here and castles,
and
that cannot really be.
You think he's equalized
There's
after that?
no really. Yeah, black is doing fine there.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool, Celtic Frost. He's members of the band, definitely. D. Snyder. Yeah. So let's see. Anyway, back to the game. So, but I guess so. That's just the exploitation. But Fischer, I guess, learned from this game, and he learned some. He learned to play this precise a3 here. So. Knight takes d4, bishop takes knight, now bishop to b4, attacking e4, threatening d5 maybe. So bishop to bishop 2. To q3. Castles, bishop to q2.
Gary said to you, after knight c6, don't you take because knight e5 is annoying.
c6 here. You can take, but the issue is I think you can play d5. And here. This has been played a lot, I'm pretty sure. So let's see. Maybe we'll just do some examples. Maybe e5. No, actually, no. Castles. I want to say you could play e5 or d5 with no trouble. Or maybe, yeah, I think you're fine here. I think. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, maybe black or white's better here, but. Or maybe it's. I'm not so sure. But or d5 at a timely moment, I guess.
That's what I like about Fischer. He would go back and then he would find a better move. Like, cause like these grandmasters, when they open, they play the same. Like they play the best move in the opening. So you're kind of always getting almost the same opening. But then
the taking is interesting.
He just tries to find a better move to play in that line. You know.
Yeah.
You don't get that too often at my level because nobody's, we don't know all the variations, so you're always getting like a crazy game. We're just kind of playing off of principles and just playing about what we see, you
Yeah.
know?
So I think I think this is Luma. This is Luma's variation in the in a certain Sicilian, I think. And it's a good surprise weapon, I'm pretty sure, but
I love surprise weapons.
yeah, it's playable, but it just kind of gives control over. So like there's good trade-offs, but it gives black a nice center, I think. So that may be a long-term edge.
Okay.
Definitely, like at least for this particular variation, I think it's called Luma's variation, at least here, uh, which I read in a book.
Gary says he gets the point, Comet.
Okay.
But it's got no advantage there.
But well, it's debatable, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
like I think you can claim that there are some. There's an exchange, and you have good control over the dark squares still. At least you're not using. I don't know. There's different trade-offs. It's definitely playable. So bishop, so d6. Oh yeah, so we're on move 12, knight to r4, forcing a series of exchanges which Gothic edge. Wait, knight to r4. Let's see if I got this right.
He's saying
7.
what 95 here. I don't know when.
Knight to b3.
Don't think get your c4
Bishop to
pawn.
k3. Wait, bishop takes. I'm just looking at this. Oh, bishop to b4. Bishop 4, not the actual b4. Me off. So this was played in the game. Oh yeah, what'd you say? Sorry. Oh, c4 pawn.
And then he said 95. Here, let's say. He said that at about a minute ago.
95. Taking the c4 pawn. Oh, in which variation? Is it the bishop e2? Well, Fischer, I think, explained in a variation, or there's like a, or he didn't explain it, but I think there's a tactic of knight to d5 after queen takes c4. Where, the question. So after rook c1, maybe there's like knight to d5.
It's crazy that queen coming down there.
And the issue is after bishop to b4 check. But that's why Fischer said pawn to a3. Where is it in this variation though? Let's see. Rook to queen's bishop 1. Knight to king's knight 5 was the best. King's knight to knight 5. But on knight takes c4. Yeah, you can't play for that tactic, I'm pretty sure. But maybe you can just castle anyway or something. Bishop takes would let the queen stop everything.
Isn't the
Maybe
queen
even just
vulnerable
this.
down there?
Maybe you can just go for this, I guess. I don't know.
Check.
And king to f1. But you don't need to play check also. It's risky, yeah.
Risky for black, right?
Risky for black. Yeah, black does not need to go in for that line. So knight c2 maybe. But you can just even play queen to here check or something.
Check.
I don't know, it's able maybe. This isn't of course the best moves, but I know there's a tactic that they can play with knight to d5 here.
Hmm.
Idea with knight to d5 is this c7 control is double controlled, and this is a fork coming. But he can probably escape with that, although it's very scary looking with this. Okay, wait. Oh yeah, bishop to d2. So after here, knight here, check. Maybe some weird complications like this.
Check. Check.
Oh,
This is interesting.
very
It's definitely
Check.
yeah. Maybe that's still good for black, and this one I showed. But yeah, it looks risky. Five tactic.
Check. Check.
tactics, man.
Yeah. Takes d4, bishop takes d4. So he's trying. Black is trading to trade these bishops apparently. Bishop to b2, pawn to q3, castles. Developing here, and knight to r4. And so now, forces an exchange because if the bishop retreats to a7, the rook would awkwardly be placed, arguably on a7. And black does not want to give up the central pawn duo, so he plays bishop takes. Takes rook to d1, or d8, sorry. q1, and castles. Control, maybe he's going to play d5. I mean, that's the general... If black can get in d5, which is really hard, but if they get that in, then they are not worse in space, at least.
I like how black won rook d8 and then white, counters, right? It's like they're already preparing for that file to open up later on in the game.
Yes.
Something. It's like that's what it just comes off to me. It's like I don't know. You know?
Yeah, they're countering each other. Although sometimes there's some really funny like rook moves too, like anticipating open files, which we saw last game.
Right.
Like where Fischer played like rook to b8. Oh yeah, black is struggling. Yeah, because of the space. But I guess yeah, sometimes there's some really funny like rook I guess I want to call it mysterious rook move.
Well, I'm just trying to
It's
learn.
like-
I watched a guy on YouTube.
Yeah.
That goes over all these games, and he's only like a 600, but it's like he's always showing these games like, and the way he puts it out, kind of like you are. You want to learn from these guys. That's why we go over these games, and you're wondering, well, why are they making these moves? And it's like to me, when I see that just happen, the only thing that pops in my mind is that it's like they're already anticipating, that D file opening up,
Yes,
in
exactly.
the game later. So that's why he met him right back. So he's already there.
Sometimes I even like for me I don't understand it, so I'm always like checking to make sure I didn't mess up with the coordinates too or something, because like old notation. But like yeah, like rook d8's.
Juan
It's kind
Jose,
of,
thanks for the follow, man. Welcome to the
creative.
stream. How are you? It's Fisher Friday. Welcome, brother.
Welcome. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
I
we're
said that
going
right.
over Fischer versus Rossetto in 1959.
Hey, Con.
KB Khan, how's it going? Just in time to see some Bobby Fischer. Maybe you can try this. I don't know if you've tried this against Sicilian, but it's a Maroczy bind concept. There are a few key things in this opening, like sacrifices on b5, sacrifices on d5 for white. And so this is how the game has happened so far. Moves. And so they played these two rook moves anticipating the open file. And so yeah, me and Calculated Chess just discussed
Chess for you. Just rated with a party of 3. Thank you, Chess for you, man. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the
welcome.
raid. It's Fisher Friday.
Yep. Fischer versus Rossetto. I was trying to explain for some of the newer people that just came in right before you. Yeah, so we're looking at this interesting Sicilian game right now. Here's a quick zoom through of the moves. Me and Calculate just talked about these interesting rook moves. 14. So now Queen's rook to b1. Bishop 1 anyway. And so what really with these rooks being placed like this is white wants a passed c pawn. Maybe white wants to exchange one pair of rooks, I want to say. Or oh no, wait, maybe rook just, oh yeah, he has a rook behind on the d file to prevent. So
That's why I'm thinking like they're preparing for all this break, maybe this d5 break later.
yeah, and also b5 too is a break.
Okay.
They can play like this at some point. So Fischer's moves are aimed at preventing those, and also moving ahead with possibly queenside majority, maybe b4, and pawn to c5 maybe. Or maybe he's going to lock down the center in order to attack, which is another strategy. Let's see.
Okay.
Now on queen takes pawn, this is really cool. So Fischer, he doesn't want to exchange, he doesn't want to take that pawn. Oh man. Yeah, there's a deathmatch with KB Khan and Moscatel. That's amazing. Wow, I'm a big fan of both you guys.
Okay, so
Can't wait.
I guess what they still looks like they gotta hash out the details though.
Yeah. Oh, oh boy, trash
Well,
talk. Oh boy.
As soon as you guys get the dates and the deets, man, let us know. I'll be sure to promote that for you guys.
I'm here. Oh yeah, so this is why didn't want to go for it.
Okay. This
So
is a
I guess
variation.
black taking the d6 pawn. He calculated these moves. So after queen takes, black removes the defender of the e4 pawn. I would not even say the game is favorable to white because he's got one pawn committed to c4, advance the queenside majority, and the d2 square is very weak. Exchanging rooks, I guess, wouldn't really promise an advantage also. So Bercho, yeah, they were thinking about deathmatch. I was reading an event, I guess.
Moscatel and KB Khan, but it looks like they still have to hash the details out.
Yeah.
They just looks like they just announced it in chat.
So that's a fun thing to see.
Well, there's gonna be a lot of them coming up because Mr. Bertrout, his whole month
He's
of
doing-
August, he's going for the record.
Oh yes.
He's going for 12. He's going for 12 death matches, maybe more. We'll see.
It's amazing.
So he's gonna have a pretty exciting month of August. That's
Yes.
Mr. Bertrout. Let's give him these guys a couple
Shout
shout
out.
outs. So you guys want to see some amazing death matches coming in August? There you go. There's the fish himself, Mr. Bertrout. And then
Let's see.
you got KB Khan. Killabog Khan. Killabod, right? And Moscatel.
Oh, the comedy mode. Oh, that's all right. It expired, I think. But
What?
oh, the emotes, because the GM John Davis, I think. Well, the month ran out, I guess. That's all right. Welcome, Wally.
And I gotta shout out my special co-host here, Mr. Chess
Thank you.
Comet.
It's an honor to be here, as always.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I love going over these games, even though they might be, like some ideas might be still over my skill level, but I do learn like certain things. Like I watch what they're doing, and it makes me think, okay, well these guys know what they're doing. You know, maybe I
Yeah.
need to imply this in my games. You know, like okay, he won.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think also one thing I really like is like it's more idea focused and ideas. I don't think you can really lose the strength of ideas in chess. Like once you see it, it stays memorized more or less.
Right.
Tactics or calculating, I think, is harder to maintain. I
Oh man.
guess.
Yeah. I mean, because I think that's something you have to do per each game, right? Calculating.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
So that's just that's an acquired skill. I think that you could
Yeah.
definitely mend over time.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're gonna keep like for calculating, you can definitely reach a certain level that you will not lose. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
As long as you stay with it, you don't take like
As long as
really
you stay
long
with it.
breaks. It's kind of like anything. You say you do something for years, but then you stop doing whatever that thing was for 6 months. You try to jump back on the horse. It's not going to
Yeah.
be the same as it was before you stopped.
Oh, I know. So I guess looking at the game, Black plays queen to a5. So yeah, Bertrand did mention that like if you look at this position, it's really hard to come up with a plan for Black because like he boldly stopped b5 and d5. And f5 is going to take some time and it weakens the king. I mean, if I was Black, I wouldn't know what to do here. He's definitely so I guess he's trying to play for tricks, maybe try to tempt Fischer to take that d6 pawn at some point.
So this
So
is the
queen
actual
r4.
position.
He did not. He avoided the immediate b5.
Okay.
Because after pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. Rather than pawn to here because of pawn bishop takes pawn check. Knight takes bishop. Wait. Yeah, so there's knight takes bishop, and both queens are hanging. Oh yeah, I think white will be down too much material. So yeah, knight c3. With this, this b5 pawn is weak. So Fischer thinks that this bishop to c6 is more solid. With this bishop on c6, this b7 pawn is a lot less of a weakness. And it's kind of like calculated chess. In the endgame, I think one cool idea is this idea, and usually it's like a pawn that can outpost a bishop. And Barov, I think one time he was playing his matches, or he was playing in this tournament, and there was an adjournment or something,
Okay.
and Kasparov had a bishop and a pawn, and the issue was his bishop was very separated from the pawn,
Mm-hmm.
like how he could draw the game. And Botvinnik said that the bishop needs an anchor, just something that the bishop can latch upon and just hold, protect the bishop the whole game, pretty much.
Okay.
But so here, Fischer thinks this middle game idea of the anchor is a5, trying to force matters, which is what the opponent played. Fischer plays this strategical idea. I'm wondering if you can spot it here. Fischer played here.
Fischer's next move.
He wasn't just a masterful tactician, but he had some nice strategical ideas. The weaknesses of Black's pawn structure and the badness of that light square bishop. And the difference between Fischer's possible move here and if he would be able to play it here so easily with the bishop on c6. Yeah, let me know what you would think his best move would be here. If it secures some good infiltration and long-term chances.
The only things that are coming to my mind are a knight move or a queen move.
That's pretty good. So far, you've got a 50-50 odds of getting the right move.
Right, because I'm thinking, but I don't think Fischer's just going pawn grabbing because we got the pawn on d6.
Yeah, Fischer
attacking.
cared more about position, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that Celtic Frost. I don't know. Sometimes that works.
I was thinking, the first thought when you said it to me, I was thinking knight to b6. Because the queen's covering that square. It's
Yeah.
hitting the bishop. And you're talking about this long-term endgame plan with, anchors or something. Maybe he wants to just try to maybe get rid of that bishop.
Possibly. Like, Fischer has been known to do that in order to target pawns. Although here, I think it may be a different story. Forgot the game, so I don't remember what the purpose is in the longer run.
Okay. I mean, but if I had to say, that was my first instinct.
Yeah, and I think that's a good one. But I mean, as they say, like, or as Metal Eagle always says, if you find a good move, you have to find a better move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, pawn there. Knight. Pawn takes. Now another thing, maybe pawn to e5.
Sometimes that would work, although here the queen is protecting that square, and additionally, there's no real pin on the d file because the rook and knight protect the bishop. But yeah, you could try Moscatel's idea too, right?
Sit on your hands. Well,
yeah, that's definitely something we've talked a lot about on some streams. I can tell you too if you get too stumped.
I'm trying to embody my inner Fischer.
Yes.
So it definitely okay. I mean, but I'm like, it's crazy how when we go over these moves and then I say so many different moves and it's not it. It's like, come on, Fischer.
Yeah, but the thing is, all of those moves you say are big, like a small piece of the big puzzle, and
Yeah.
I think they definitely explain the Fischer move that he made.
It's just crazy because
So like, there's definitely some good.
It's just crazy because I'm looking.
Yeah, you got this.
What is the idea? What is Fischer doing?
Oh, you probably did see this, maybe in a book.
Somebody seen this?
Oh yeah.
Somewhere
Oh
I
yeah,
saw
don't
it.
do
Maybe.
that, Yeah, what Moscatel's.
No,
So,
no,
yeah,
don't
I
do
think-
that.
I think this is a nice strategic puzzle, actually, in my opinion. It's like
Yeah, I'm finding it difficult. I don't know if anybody in chat is either.
I
Because
try
I
to pick,
gave
like-
my top 3 moves, and I'm trying to look for like secondary moves. It's hard.
So your first move was knight to b6, and your second move was pawn to e5.
No,
What was
second
your
move
third
was I was thinking queen takes d6. I'm like, well, I don't think that's
Queen
Fischer.
takes d6.
It doesn't seem like
Oh
Fischer.
yeah, no, Fischer. Yeah, he didn't. He doesn't. Well, the issue also is.
Like these guys
Choose.
play
If-
like positionally.
I'll show you.
like,
I'll show you a tactical possibility. If queen takes d6, literally just take on e4 like this,
Mhm.
attacking the queen, and even attack here. He just win material
Okay.
into something like this,
check,
and Fischer would just be better here. Maybe like knight takes e4.
Okay.
So it's an idea, but it just doesn't work in this position. Oh, one of my friends, Alexei Kolmogorov, he's actually a physics professor at Binghamton University. Against the GM, the GM sacrificed the pawn on d6, and somehow he lost the game. So keep that in mind, like with the Sicilian, there's a lot of times people can sacrifice this pawn, do some trouble, I guess.
What, the C pawn?
At least
Oh.
here is not free.
All right,
Traps.
I'm stumped. Show me.
So you were kind of right with knight to b6, kind of. You were really close. Is that like this square is weak, and maybe we can trade into a favorable late middle game position. Something where you shore up long-term edges, like where you cannot have something dislodged. So Knight to b6 was semi-correct, but do you have a better move than knight to b6 based on the same ideas of weak squares, I guess?
I mean, then I guess the only other thing would be what, queen? Queen to b6?
That's correct. So queen to b6. So Fischer's idea was he's kind of virtually forcing an exchange of queens. I don't really think the queen can go anywhere really good.
See, I didn't think of that because I'm thinking, you know, he has the better central queen. Why does he want to get the queens off? See, these are the ideas I just can't grasp yet. Why?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess Fischer. I'll show you one variation he gives. So if he tries to keep the queens on the board, like queen to e5, there's going to be rook takes pawn, and you. So the issue now, the thing is, you can't really win material because, well, the queen's not vulnerable. So he's threatening this pawn for real. So maybe attacking this h2, but now pawn to king's knight 3, blocking that threat. 4, attacking h2, pawn to r4, and there's no danger, and white's just simply a pawn up. If bishop takes here, you can take this in between move. You win this is a pin because the rook's unprotected. This is another idea, like you just win the exchange at least.
Okay.
So that's his logic behind why black can't keep the queens on board, and why exchange queens. If you look at the opponent's pieces, what's black's most active piece right now?
I guess it's queen.
He just wanted to get rid of the strongest piece and make his pieces like a lot stronger, at least in this position.
So it's as simple as that.
Yeah, and let's see. I'm wondering if there's any other concrete reasons why you would want to exchange queens.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, Comet's always looking at the woodpecker method. That's funny you say that.
Oh yeah.
That's very funny.
Oh yeah, Lolly. Yeah, this is something that I do. So maybe I got that pattern idea from this. I don't know, but let's see. In the middle game, threats, and it's kind of like when there's more pieces on the board, it kind of feels more like a stream with like more water in it or something.
Okay.
Stakes actually matter more when there's more material, at least in my experience. Whereas if you exchange things, there's less chances to go wrong, and it's easier to convert advantages to win, I guess.
So should I write down like trading off?
Well, trading just it depends. I do not recommend trading to. I do not recommend trading for simply making things easier.
Okay.
Because sometimes it just makes your position worse with the same weaknesses with less material on it.
It's funny you say that because I always hear, well, trade down.
Well, you always have. It's all actually that's one of the biggest things in making like really good progress in chess, just knowing when to trade. I think.
Right, and this is what this game is showing me.
So. Yeah, Fischer I think has good judgment here. He's recognized like that queen's very active, and he does not want to give black a smidge of counterplay. This queen takes b6 and knight takes b6, and all of a sudden now we have this knight that's really hard to dislodge on this b6 square.
Right. There's no dark square bishop. There's no pawns that can attack it. Yeah.
So, black finally puts this bishop on c6. And now we see another idea of why he exchanged queens. These dark squares by white's king able to be taken advantage of. Black has no dark square bishop and no dark square queen. Like the queen could have maybe checked on c5 or something. Like exchange queens on c5 with a pin on the d4 queen. But with queens off the board, the opportunity to get a favorable position.
I like it. So no one to trade.
Yeah.
Now is that a skill you got to learn? You got to kind of figure it out on your own.
I think it's something that's best trained with experience, I guess, and just trying to think as much as possible. So now black is trying to trade off that knight. He's very he does not like that knight at all. And also, Black relied on the exchanging of knights. I'll show you what Black was banking on here. He was banking on knight takes knight, and banking on knight to r4, maybe retreating, and maybe knight to e5, attacking the c4 pawn, ending it very awkwardly, and pawn to b5, freeing up the position and holding the balance.
Okay.
So back to this. He was banking on the exchange of knights, try to claim that there's no advantage for white. So rook to q2, trying to build up on this d6 pawn. Here defending, and rook here attacking d6 maybe with some possible pawn breaks coming. And this bishop defends d7 twice, so that makes the difference here.
And there we are on that D
So there's no
file.
pawn e5. There's no pins. There's no pins on this d file here. Protects d7 twice. So, puzzle for you, I guess. So after bishop c6 and f3, what do you think Fischer played here? And I think Bertrand would get this move, I think, because this is played in one of his games. So if you watch his stream, I think you would definitely see this move.
Aspect Troy, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream, man.
Yeah, thanks for the follow, sir. We're
I hope
gonna
you're a
guess.
fan. I hope you're a fan of Mr. Fisher.
So let's see if we can find out what Fischer plays here in this position. And okay, so Fischer, I think he thought very critically about this, and he wanted to change the structure to his advantage. So we've ruled out two moves, and the knight's under attack.
Okay.
So what do you think you would play here?
Would Fisher play here?
Yes. Oh, thematic, of course. It's thematic, but I think I've definitely seen you come up with this idea. You looked at this idea lots of times.
All right.
So this is the key, at least for Sicilians. This puzzle is all about paying attention to, I guess, because I've seen this in Bertrand's stream. So. Sometimes impossible moves are also possible.
Hey. Nice and cool in here, huh?
Yeah, it's really humid.
I don't say.
So maybe we can get some guesses from the chat.
Yeah, because I'm considering couple moves, but I'm not sure what works.
Okay.
Well, I've got to consider that, you know, White's knight is being threatened right now. It's hanging. It's being attacked. Does he want to trade? Does Bobby Fischer want to trade knights? Does he have some more ingenious plan?
Ooh, that might be an idea, Moscatel.
Bishop to a...
Ooh, Bertrand's got it right there.
95.
We've got two people who've got it so far.
95, I would have never found 95.
Knight to d5. So let's see. Well, let's just play it and see if you can find the continuation here. So what do you think? What do you think White plays? Black plays here. And no queen sec, right? Resign. Dang. So, I'll show you the continuation. So
95.
yeah, it's played in the game.
Hey, not
Black played-
Fisher. Fisher Friday, what's up? That's a shout out.
Not Fischer.
We got not Fisher on Fisher Friday. It's very fishy.
Exactly. Do a quick recap for the not Fischer fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, for C5, we have a Sicilian Khan coming up after A6, and now we've got the Moxie bind, and so now we have this interesting centralization by white and show pawns, one exchange of knights, and now we have a position where white is putting pressure on the d6 pawn and preventing b5 and d5. And so now queen b6, so, exchanging black's strongest piece at the moment. And so we have that exchange, pressure on e4, probably because there's no queens on the board. And so now knight to d7 was played, and we just finished this puzzle of Fischer not wanting to give his opponent any gain, equality, or the advantage. We looked at knight takes d7. Fischer did not like this at all because there's no way to make progress. This d6 pawn is safe, and there's no pins because d7 is protected. And on knight a4, there's counterplay for black like this, with a free move and removing this central restricting pawn. In the game, we looked at, so the person played bishop takes d5, but on pawn takes d5, you would play here, calculated chess.
Okay.
Like, Fischer had to see this in advance, I think, for that combination to work.
I think Fischer sees everything.
Oh yeah, he does. Of course.
Well, maybe not every game, but you know, for the most part, I think Fischer. Oh man.
I'll show you the point of the point of the combination is after king's pawn takes, this bishop has no squares.
Mm-hmm.
b5 is covered by the pawn. This is covered by the bishop. This knight blocks the bishop. Disadvantage of just black's putting the bishop on c6.
That happens to me a lot
allowing-
too.
It happens to the best of us, I guess. King's pawn takes pawn. Knight to k4 maybe. And then pawn takes bishop. Pawn takes pawn. Queen's knight 3. Solidifying the c4 pawn. Bishop 4. 4. Taking advantage of just the d5. And king's rook to k1.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what could have happened in the game. Although here black is fine and this d6 pawn is safe. So this is one point, but this is the lesser variation. Yeah, or actually no, this is tenable, I guess.
Next week, you're a week.
Oh, so on knight to d5,
Well, if it is, I'm gonna be a week.
there is knight to e5,
Oh no, it's man chill.
and then there's this in between knight to e7 check.
Little intermezzo.
So after this, then there's king r1, and Fischer gets to exchange for this defending bishop and attack c6 like this. But this knight has this outpost and holding things together. Variations that could have happened, but instead Rossetto didn't want to go for any of that and just play bishop takes d5. King's pawn takes.
97
Rossetto.
outposts.
Yeah, 97 outpost, right?
Kasparov didn't say that, did he?
With steeplechase? Actually, that's a race, steeplechase.
I was gonna say.
Oh, fake what? Okay. Because
Trout always gets
think
me
I-
like that. I'm like, come on, no.
I was thinking of doing the steeplechase, but that's a hard race.
I don't want to hear such things ever again. Ugh. Gives me the chills. Kasparov quitting chess.
Exactly. So knight to e4, bishop. I'm just looking at some variations Fischer's given.
He's
So
still,
that's a safe way.
he did retire from professional chess, but isn't he still very active with like promoting it for kids? You know, he's still.
Oh yes.
You know, he's got his
He's
master
got
classes. You know,
Pro Chess Foundation.
yeah, he's got his foundations. But professionally, I think, but he does come out every once in a while. I've seen him on St. Louis Chess Club a couple of
Yep.
times. Yeah,
And
yeah,
he's been
Trout.
doing a lot of writing, of course.
Right.
Like his latest book is is coming, I guess. Oh yeah, chess business, of course. So, what I would say. So let's see. Queen's Knight 4.
Who is this Kasparov, guys?
Oh yeah, professional chess. Yeah. Oh, so now calculated chess. After this change in the pawn structure, what do you think White played here? One and D1, while supporting those already advanced pawns. This is another key move here, I think. Seeing how to convert an advantage.
4, 7, 7, 2 majors, 2 majors, 2 minors. Bishop versus knight.
A bishop versus knight, and if we notice, the pawn structure has just changed also. This knight to
Nope.
d5. Pawn takes. Now the whole game is just changed after this pawn takes. And if you notice, Fischer did not take like this. Then
It's weird.
black is actually probably better here.
Strange. To me.
Oh yeah, and there's no real infiltration because black is in time for this. Rook b8.
So he wanted that e file.
Yeah,
Maybe like
he
that.
wanted this e file open, and sometimes even white, if this pawn's on e7, they can pressure this and win the e pawn like that.
Okay.
Also after some build up, but has different reasons a different method. So yeah, black just played this. He did not want to allow any targets on the e file for sure. Plays pawn e5, and he wants to keep it closed and keep this bishop missing any pawn targets.
Does he just go pawn f4?
Pawn f4 is an idea.
I'm trying to think of attacking. The only other sensible move I could see is maybe bishop to e4. Just I don't know. It's like
You
a
have to think
blockade.
about why. You have to think about why Fischer placed his rooks on c1 and d1. I guess.
Open it up.
What's trying to so in chess there's these things about advantages. Oh, thanks for following, Vincent Skyer.
Vincent Skyer, welcome to the stream, man. How are you? How was your Friday? It's Fisher Friday. Welcome, welcome, sir.
Hey, Lally.
I hope you're a
Lally's got
Fischer
the right
fan.
idea. Yeah, Lally's definitely got the right idea here. So, you know, what Fischer played in the game, I think, was really nice, and
I gotta unmod
you
my
definitely
bot.
have to play. You definitely have to play these kinds of moves as much as you can.
Mhm.
Pawn to queen's knight 4, playing for the breakthrough of pawn to c5 right here.
Hold on.
She's
He
probably on,
plays
yes.
b4.
Yeah, he plays b4 right here. Oh, if you look at this pawn structure, it's queenside majority versus kingside majority.
Yeah. 'Cause he's got the
Can
split
probably
pawns, right? We got 4 connected. Right?
Fischer's bishop actually really is good at restricting this e4 break right here. So, although the pawns are mostly on light squares, the bishop does a perfect job of just restricting white's immediate or black's immediate advance, at least in e4. Here, Fischer's rook on c1 is giving him a slight head start on playing c5.
The opponent is
This
Fischer
is,
versus Rosetto, 1959.
Yep, rook 59. Mar del Plata. And so,
And this study is open to the public, right?
yes, definitely. You guys can all join, or I can add you guys if you want. Let's see, we've got 3 members, of course, but yeah, this is all for the stream, of course. And,
Yeah, well, this is our 60-week project.
Yes.
So everybody doesn't know this.
So feel free to.
This is going to be a 60-week project between me and Mr. Chesscom in here. So
Yep.
we're going to go through every game, one game every Friday, deep analysis like we're doing now, to learn what we can from Bobby Fischer's his amazing book. And hopefully by the end of this book, I'll be a couple 100 points stronger.
Exactly.
That's the goal. Uh, is for me and to share the information with everyone else, and hopefully everybody that follows us along on this journey, learn something too. I'm all about that. I'm all
Exactly.
about the education, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trout.
Oh, 60 weeks. Yeah, that's a commitment. Yeah. Yeah. So, for finding these kinds of moves in your games, one thing I can say, let's see. Silman writes, "Play where your pawns point."
I hear that all the time.
Yeah. So I guess maybe you can find this move. Maybe Fischer's pawns point kind of this way, maybe. And maybe Black's pawns point this way. That might be a way to find where to play for a pawn break. You can kind of look at how, if you calculate, like, if you just think about, if you remove the knight from the equation and just calculate, like, you can calculate and find this too, maybe from just advancement of the pawn. So after pawn takes, hanging pawns, and this pawn c6 is coming, and we see this breakthrough of this c pawn, which happens a lot with this structure, and it happens a lot with the hedgehog also, like what I showed earlier.
And Fischer's he's more farther down the board.
Oh yeah, he's pretty ahead, I think. So let's see what happens in the game, because I definitely forgot this game.
So he goes b4.
Yeah, and so his opponent respects that move and plays pawn to b6, trying to restrict Fischer's progress. So
Check the pawn break.
yeah, and if his opponent tried just the slightly radical pawn to b5, then there follows 3 pawn to b5. Wait, that doesn't look right. 4. I get this wrong. Oh yeah, so just defend it. Well, actually, this is a nice Nimzovich-looking idea. So if he takes, white is not making any progress here. This knight dominates this queen side, and there's no pressure on b7.
I like that move.
Everything is gummed up if he was to take.
That's why knights are so strong in the center.
So that's why Fischer gives a3, supporting control of this c5 square. And after pawn takes pawn, rook going to this file first. Pawn to b5 gives the advantage here. And I think the point is maybe he can play this intermediate bishop f5 attacking the knight, and then taking and getting well, I'll just go through the variation. After pawn takes, he's not going to immediately capture, or he can, but I was thinking maybe he could play like f5 first, I want to say.
Okay.
Treat his knight to here, and then pawn b takes. White almost lost. Exactly. Yeah, white has no counterplay, and it's only black who's breaking through, if he wants to.
So I'm learning something else here, man, because I'm studying. Obviously, I got my basic endgame course I'm going over on Chessable.
Yeah, that's an incredible course.
And there's a lot of these pawn setups, but obviously with less pieces on the board, right? Where it's like you have to make this specific pawn move.
Yeah.
Or it's the whole thing is not going to work.
Yep.
For you to break through, and it's just crazy. But it's like sometimes it's hard to see. It's hard to see.
Oh yeah.
For me anyway, right now. Oh, that is Chesscom.
Like
I'm pretty sure you're in the title.
I'll just type in the chat.
Got you in the title, special guest, big.
Yeah, that's all right. So anyway, back to the game. So this is the. variation. Bishop f5.
Sure,
but-
you could ask him, Dialmo.
Yeah, go for it.
He streams as well. Here's his link.
Oh, DML streams? Or
No, he's asking to be your friend.
you can send a request.
Should I put your link out there
If
for
you
a
want.
follow? If you want to follow Mr. Chess Comet, he is my special host, and you know he streams as well. There's his link. You can give him a follow right there, and you
Much
can
appreciated.
get all the live updates when he goes live.
Alright, so, yeah, back to the game. So, yeah, black is trying to restrict that c5 break. He realizes the danger. Now Fischer plays bishop to r4, attacking this knight, which is controlling c5.
Okay.
And, is this pawn to knight 3, giving his king maybe some room, and he's going to get this moving. This
Start
pawn
getting
will
his
make
king
some good
side
support.
rolling, right?
And arguably, maybe Fischer could be threatening. I don't know if he's given this variation, but let's say maybe I'll just do a nothing move. Like, let's see. I can slow down Black's progress. It's like G4 here.
Are they both trying to do this though? It's like, cause it looked like with that last black move, like black was trying
think
to
so, yeah.
get
Well-
his king side rolling, but he still got to worry about his queen side too.
They-
It's crazy.
See, or I think thematically it's just a slow stopper of any.
What is this thematically? This is the second time I'm here. I'm hearing all this. See, this is why I love these shows. Okay, even though I've been around the chess scene for over a year and a half now, I've never heard thematically until Trout said it in Trout. Until you just said it now. I'm pretty good with that stuff, man. When I hear something I know I don't never heard it before, I catch on.
Oh, yeah,
Thematically,
so
what is that?
If you look at my
Write
if you
that
look
down.
at my arrows, you can kind of see like what white wants to do and what black wants to do. So black wants to play like f5 and e4 probably to get his pawn going, and white wants to get his pawn going. So we've got pawns going forward.
Can you share something? What? Text or link? A puzzle I solved in a match.
Oh yeah. Also, another point. Oh, you solved a puzzle. Oh, nice. That's cool.
A link.
But right now we're gonna go over the game. I think we're gonna look at it. We can look at it after maybe. It's up to calculated chess, of course.
Yeah. I'm just wondering. Where's a good place to post the link?
Maybe Discord or something too.
Yeah. Yeah, you could post the link
Yeah.
there, DLMO. We'll check it out after the Fischer game.
Yeah. So G6. So yeah, if G4, let's say Black tries G6 here, White can play this G5, and this is like a way to artificially isolate E pawn here. That's another idea you can think about.
Okay.
If he tries this F5, you can take en passant. All of a sudden, Black's strategy is kind of gummed up. So after G5, you can, if he tries H6, just maintain with H4. And again, same thing. This queen side, or this king side pawn push. So, that's why Black played G6 now. I guess because he's anticipated Fischer playing maybe G4. I don't know why he didn't play immediate F5 though. Weaken the diagonal, he's thinking.
So Lolly's saying this is like to make the pawn islands to the opponent.
Yeah, pawn islands for the opponent, of course. But I'm wondering why F5 immediately was not played. Look, actually. I guess it doesn't really give... Computer says it's about equal here.
Go ahead, Celtic.
Go for it, Celtic. Oh gosh. So... I guess this variation, it's kind of equal. F5 is fine, I guess. So I don't know. Maybe he should have played F5 immediately, but G6 was played anyway. So Q3 was played, and now Black plays this pawn to B4 here. This is a mistake. He says oblivious to the danger. The best defense is 4, pawn to queen's rook 3, then pawn to B4. Allow pawn to C5 without first forcing white to make a concession of exchanging the bishop for the knight. So here Fischer really values the bishops. And also another point is after pawn to queen's rook 4, then with bishop takes knight, rook takes bishop, pawn to B5. Okay. Pawn takes pawn, pawn takes, oh yeah, so pawn takes pawn, then pawn to B5.
Now, is this a variation of the position?
Yes, this is what he's given.
Okay.
Pawn to R5. Black can find some resources to stay in the game, at least with this pawn A5 Fischer gave. So he thinks pawn A5 before F5 is what Fischer thought.
Yeah, now we're getting into a position where it's like it seems like this would be really, really difficult for me to solve.
Yeah. But now, what do you think Fischer played here? What's the difference?
Oh my God.
With this? What's the difference between this and this?
Oof.
What do you think? So sometimes pawns can block spots, and we have squares that we sometimes realize we don't have access to.
Okay.
What do you think Fischer played after F5? And what do you think the reason of Fischer playing rook to D3 was, I guess? Alright, I'm going to play rook to D3 to give him a chance to make a mistake. And this is the mistake.
Huh.
And I'll just show you the difference. The difference is this A5 pawn is on there and this A3 pawn is there. There is no A3 pawn. I'm not sure if move order, or I'm not sure if oh yeah. Also, the key thing is this bishop is actually very important too. I think bishops. Oh yeah, here's another point to make. Just because white has 4 or 5 light square pawns doesn't mean that bishop is useless, because good when pawns are moving. Like if the pawns are moving and there's like a flow in the position, consider keeping the bishop. And knights are good when the pawns are fixed or stopped and stabilized.
Okay.
That's another point to make, like why the light square bishop is very important to this position. But I'll show you the move, I guess. So Fischer's idea with rook to d3 was playing rook to a3. This opened file immediately.
So, because he's going to push what, b5?
Well, he's threatening bishop takes knight, followed by rook takes a6, winning a clean pawn. And he's also got pressure on e6
that will give his it could make him a passed 8 pawn.
Oh yeah, if he wants it, definitely, yeah. Black.
I didn't see the rook move. I was thinking maybe like b5.
Oh yeah, b5.
Just b5
That's
here.
That would definitely come to mind, but the issue is black controls it 3 times, or well.
Like b5.
It's
so you might just lock it up, right? Just lock it up, right?
A variation of kind of what it would. Okay, there's like this, I guess that could happen. Stuff like this 8 pawn, I think, could give counterplay.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes black can play like a rook on the b file and target a2. Sometimes too.
Yeah, I'm hoping by the end of our project here, I'll be able to understand a lot more of this advanced stuff.
Yeah.
But as long as I can take some general ideas from these games, I think is good.
Well,
Because
the good thing about chess
a
is
lot
ideas repeat.
also a lot of people because a lot of people I always hear like different. You know, you never know who to take advice from because I you always feel up and down. Somebody's telling you this, and then you're doing that for a while, and then you come across to someone else who you trust and you think has good knowledge, and they say, well, why are you doing that? You shouldn't be doing that. Then you're confused now because
Well,
this
I
other
think
guy
it's
over
kind
here.
of like different like martial arts sort of chess styles, I guess.
Yeah,
Like like I don't know. It's kind of like we are very set in thinking a certain way, I guess. And a lot of people think differently. Like Karpov saw a lot more quiet moves than Kasparov.
hmm
Was really good in converting wins, whereas Kasparov was very good in like attacking, I guess. Like, so it's just different like ideas and I guess. Oh, nice Celtic Frost.
yeah, because
I'm not-
these ideas you're showing me now,
Yeah.
I understand them when you show them to me, but when you give me like the test,
You mean the
uh,
test?
when you
That's
give
hard.
me the Fischer test, uh, it's not clear.
Keep in mind, I'd probably mess up on the Fischer test, but it would be worth it for the thinking, I guess.
Well, yeah, I love that
Like-
for that reason. Like, I don't mind sitting here and giving it a thought and hoping that I discover, the move. But I know probably, 9 out of 10 times I'm not going to. But it's
I
worth a
recommend
shot.
though, like after we go over the games though, try to review them so you can retain like some of the ideas also,
Okay.
I guess. That's what I do, or for myself, I do that also.
Right, and that's why I think it was good that we posted the games in the Discord, and
Yeah.
because so we can go back to review them whenever, and we could share them with everybody. So that was cool.
Exactly, yeah. Necessarily give the whole variations and everything. Fischer, he gives like a lot of variations, but I try to get like the main points if I can.
Yeah, I think you do a great job with that.
Thanks. So anyway, back to the game. We're gonna look at that difference of. He's got this retreating passive knight.
And the bishop got to be better here, right?
Oh yeah, B's better. So now, what do you think Fischer plays here? Now that this knight is gone, what's your intuition that you had before?
What was the b5 to open it up?
Exactly. Or pawn to well, not pawn to bishop 5, or not pawn to b5, but
Pawn to
Pawn
knight
break.
5. Is that how you say it?
pawn to
King's knight 5, or queen's
no.
knight 5.
Close though. It's close.
Yeah, that system is still a little hard for me to understand.
Sorry. The main pawn break that white is playing for is pawn to c5 here. The pawn break.
Because he's got the rook
And
behind
you're
him.
gonna see this idea a lot. I don't know if I showed you in the King's Indian before.
No, I
was
don't
the
think you have.
Petrosian. I'll show you. So do you remember game 3 of Petrosian? This is kind of similar to the game we're looking at right now. So with Petrosian and Fischer here, Fischer wants to play f5 here and play c5 here. It's
Oh.
just this. Oh, we have. Oh, thanks for the gift sub, Celtic Frost. You're incredible.
There you go, Kelsey.
so I-
Appreciate that, buddy.
Thank you, or shout out to the gift sub. But okay, so do you see this picture? Like, so you can see like with the structure.
He's blessing us with everything tonight. Pictures of his wife,
Exactly.
which I know he holds so dear to his heart.
Uh-huh.
And then he hits you with a gift sub. My
Yeah, that
man,
was amazing.
Mr. Celtic Frost.
So, all right, I'll try to give an example here. Let's see, f5, or actually, let's not play f5. Let's play like a,
Like a slow move.
a lot of times, best play is something like this, maybe. Maybe And so after this, there's going to be some weaknesses for white and infiltration. So this knight can go on c4 maybe. This is all worst case scenarios. Or actually even better. So this is a one-way actually no. This is ways things can go wrong for black. Where we've got some infiltration, stuff like this. Maybe this can exchange. Black doesn't make progress. Oh, thank you. Yeah, again, Celtic Frost. Oh, nice. He's got a puzzle up. So that's just an idea of ways things can happen, where the C file is kind of like a highway to get onto the king side.
Okay.
Sometimes, after that exchange, this C7 square becomes like an outpost, and white can attack like this, kind of. Idea that it's just you have to get used to with the pawn structure. And so here, Fischer wants to use this maybe as a highway to get in like this, and he also wants to get a passed pawn coming forward. He's got two ideas he can consider. So after knight's pawn takes pawn. So on pawn to queen's knight 4 up things. And there can be bishop to knight's 3. So in any pawn takes, there's a really good pass pawn formation that could happen. So rook to b2. Pawn to b6 going forward. Stopping it. 5. With the idea pawn to r4, opening the position on the queen side. All of a sudden, we have another weakness, a6. So now Fischer's created two weaknesses, and usually to win a game, you need two weaknesses. Bishop move would win this pawn, and it would just be it. Yeah. Well, usually, yeah. You need two weaknesses to win in chess, usually. Oh. I think in this... Well, he's winning a pawn, so it doesn't really matter. But that rule really matters if the material is equal, I would say. Equal, then the... is probably the most relevant in order to win. In order to outplay the opponent, trying to create one weakness and then attack that weakness, or so like creating and then attacking is a way to win.
So DL he's saying that is a position he wouldn't like so much as black.
Oh yeah. That looks like a really nice puzzle. I can definitely check that out.
After
I get out of the...
Go ahead, Comet.
Or after I finish like analyzing, I'll check it out, I guess. But
all right, good night, Moscatel, man. Thanks for hanging out the stream, man. You know, I always
have a good
appreciate
one,
when you're here,
Moscatel.
man.
Thanks for stopping by.
And we'll see you out here in Twitch land.
Yes. Those cool streams with that amazing accent.
Yeah, he actually came in last Arena Kings. He came in 6th place.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Alright. So yeah, we're on move 25. So the game ends at move 37. So we've got some time. We're getting close, I guess.
Yeah, no rush.
Boy. Click on it, didn't work. Oh, the study? Oh, the Twitter. Okay, yeah. But anyway. Knight's pawn takes pawn. So pawn takes pawn. Rook takes pawn. 2. And knight to d7. And rook to b7. Knight to b3. Up here. Fischer's variations. Just looking at this position. So there's going to be exchange of pawns here. X to R7. So the 7th rank is in another positional advantage. And maybe he can escort this pawn forward.
I was gonna tell Pig's on the 7th.
Yeah, and he's already threatening mate with this.
And that was what? That's the variation.
Yeah.
And what? This is it?
Oh yeah. Oh, that was the one he gives after knight to d7. He was just looking at an exchange of the d pawn for the d pawn for the I think wait, whoops. Exchange of d pawn, or d pawn for central pawns, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
After king to g7, and which was played in the game. To knight 3 was played. To b2. On to q6. Okay, so oh yeah, so after rook to b2, maybe he can actually make this knight escape. It's really hard to play for black because white has so much activity and he's restricting the places of where black's pieces can go to. So yeah, Fischer plays this seemingly impossible move d6 because of this rook on b3 attacking this knight.
So rook can't move.
Knight to q2 blockading was played in the game, but I'll show you an example of, like, if rook takes d6, then rook takes here, and all of a sudden the game is clearly lost here.
Right. I love moves like that.
Yeah.
Hey man, here's my pawn, but guess what? You can't take it.
Yeah. Very good. I guess subtleties. I guess. But like, for making progress, like Fischer was really good at combining tactics with strategy. It's really good to see those kinds of moves in those games.
Yes.
Like, if you make a move, try to make a dual-purpose move.
Dual moves.
Yeah, like not only for looking really cool, but
to win the
in
game
an efficient way. Yeah.
That's the whole point of chess. Is I'm here to. It's me versus you. Who's going to win? Right? Who can outsmart who? Right?
Exactly. So let's see. After d6, knight to q2, rook to b7. Another note to make. This d6 pawn is not only a very good pass pawn, but pass pawns are springboards into the enemy's position.
Like that.
Rook has an outpost right now, so that's another note you can use. Like,
what? Springboards?
you can use it like a like off point for coordination and okay, I guess.
Okay, so
And you're gonna actually Kasparov. You can see this in a lot of Kasparov's games as well, like where he like shoots some weird pass pawn into the ending position, and then uses his pieces to jump off of that pawn.
So you said pawns are good springboards.
Yeah, like pass pawns.
Okay, pass pawns are good springboards.
Yes, yes.
Okay, good.
Oh, what's up, Lord Sakucho? Hello. So let's see. Move 30, rook to b7, so knight to b1 is played here. Whoops.
Casey recommended me this channel for becoming
International Master. That's King's Crusher.
Really?
That's okay. Alright, so knight to b3 was played. Or, no, this is a variation, okay. Rook 3 to knight 7. So you can see these rooks coming to the 7th, and this pawn's still immune.
Okay.
So rook takes rook, and now he converts the pawn to a passed c pawn instead of a passed d pawn. So there, and this bishop can reroute to here. They're attacking because
Chess
now
M&M.
rook takes.
I like that. Thank you. Sorry, Comet.
Oh, that's all right. So this is really cool.
Now does this happen?
This tactical sequence. No, this is just a
Okay.
variation. If black tries to defend this way, then he can control that c8 queening square and indirectly queen.
It still seems.
So-
For me to see. Ooh.
Oh yeah, so this is played in the game. Back to the game, but Oh yeah, you were saying?
No, I just seen that because I was like wondering what was going to happen now,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and then
So-
I said, ooh, when you did that. Now
Three to
it's
N7?
very interesting.
Exactly. And so now, taking with the rook with check, he takes with pawn takes rook. Up forward, almost queening. Just
That-
becomes a stronger piece.
That is nice.
Yeah. So he
I
tries
don't
to
know if I would
blockade.
have seen. I don't know if I would have did that. I might have
So
just
what do you
took with the
think-
rook.
Oh, take with the rook.
I might have because it's just the simple nature of me not knowing any better.
check,
Well, I mean, a lot of people would have made that move. It's really hard to find the best way to go forward, but you have to really think about, I guess, like these critical ways, because technically it's like losing a D pawn but gaining a C pawn. Technically,
And
if
it's
you think
like
about
right
it.
there, man. That thing is worth so much, right?
Yeah. And so after rook to C8, we've seen a slight idea in a variation I've shown. So what do you think Fischer plays here? And I guess, how do you get control of the C8 square, I guess, the best way, if you can? I think for me, this would be hard to find.
Yeah, because you can't go. That's pointless.
So I guess sometimes you have to ask yourself what's your worst placed piece and just try to find the best square for it.
What the bishop?
What do you think? So black is threatening knight to e6 right now, I think, and then just taking the pawn.
Yeah, because they'll have two attackers to one defender.
Yeah, or maybe. Well, then again, there is some indirect defense with bishop to e7, like knight to e6. Then there's bishop d7 forking. It's not a threat. Fischer found like it just the best. Well, I guess I can play it because like I probably wouldn't find this myself. Fischer plays bishop just down to b3. I think this kind of move, it's like he's picking the relevant diagonal for the bishop, I guess. Like, see, there's only really one usable square for the bishop right now,
So what
and this thing only controls this c6 square as like a way to get to somewhere.
So what he was anticipating knight to e6.
Yeah, it controls e6 square, and if knight to d7, he can pin and win on knight to e7. So the game continued in this fashion. Technically, Fischer's won right now. Like, it's really hard to find moves for black, and
Well,
the pawn moves
he's
are
got to
gonna
be
run
under
out.
a lot of pressure. I mean, especially with this pawn, like one square away from queen.
And so this is what happened in the game. So pawn to queen's rook 4, pawn to queen's rook 4, pawn to r3, pawn to r3, pawn to knights 4, pawn to knights 4, rook takes pawn, and here black resigned. He's in Zug's wing. And I'll show you to rook to knight 8 wins a piece because this knight is unprotected. The knight. So on rook takes c7, then rook takes knight check.
King had to move up, start moving up, right?
That's if the king was to move up.
Okay.
If knight, so he resigned. I'll actually type where he resigned. I'll just say resigns here. He resigned here. So another variation is do knight 3, then just simply bishop to e6 and queening.
Okay.
Yep.
So there's
Finally-
nothing black can do.
So finally, if he was trying this, then he can just queen with check
check,
because of this rook attacking the king.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing game, don't you think?
Hell yeah. So
Zug's winning.
okay, so what are some key? I would like to. We should start doing like some key things.
Yeah. Key takeaways.
That we learned
from this game.
takeaways from this game, and I got knowing when to trade pieces. I'm going to start looking at that for my own games about my position more. I need to look at thematically.
Oh yeah.
I've never
Oh,
heard
thematic. That's hard, but
that.
you can do it.
Usually, you need 2 weaknesses to win a game.
Yeah. Assuming you're not ahead in material, I guess.
Yeah,
That's just a general.
it's a
kind of
theme,
thing
right?
that- yeah, theme.
Pass pawns are good springboards.
Yep. There's springboards, like jumping off points, like so they give 2 outposts inside the opponent's position, I guess
Mhm.
sometimes. And it's kind of more of it's sort of a complicated dynamic chess idea, I would say. Like using a pawn as a springboard. And also pawn breakthroughs is another theme I want to say. Like
Yeah.
knowing the right pawn break. Sometimes if you pick the wrong pawn break, like maybe you'll play for the pawn to
Remember how you showed me, like in the middle there, like in the
Yeah.
middle or late end game, where he took with the E pawn instead of the C pawn.
Yeah.
That's a good
yeah,
example.
that's also another thing. Well, yeah, it
Because-
keeps winning chances.
Well, like a noob like me would think, oh well, we were talking about pawn chains, right?
Yeah, pawn chains.
So you were like,
and-
look at that beautiful pawn chain, right? Like I would
but
think
here
that
with
immediately.
symmetrical pawns, it doesn't really promise advantages, and white can play, or black can play even knight c5 with some compromises by white.
Yeah.
Isn't good. Also, the pawns aren't the same color, which isn't good.
And you got a light square bishop.
Yeah, but with e takes, the pawns are in the same color, but the pawns are moving.
Hmm.
Moving.
And
That's
now,
good
and,
for
and
bishops.
and they're broken now too. So the bishop has more maneuverability. Could I say?
Well, it's more maneuverability, but it has potential to improve also.
So pawn breaks.
Yeah, pawn breaks, and yeah, a slightly deep concept is just moving pawns are good for bishops, and fixed pawns are good for knights.
Okay.
Not seeing an example. Oh, actually, we did see a slight example in this game, where he plays knight c5 like this. So this is really good for knights because these pawns are stuck.
Yeah, like you
in
said,
this
it's just
variation.
hitting everything, right?
Yeah, so a5 instead of, and if he was to take, but of course Fischer gives this variation. Being here, so the pawns are moving, and there's going to be some counterplay. Bishop f5, as I thought, and are really strong here, and it gives white with a 1-point advantage here. Okay, if you have bishops, make the pawns move, I guess.
Okay.
You can make a move with knights too, but it's different, like, situations. Like, you have different things to take into account, like attacking kings and stuff like that. And also this cruel, for me, like, this concept, this rook maneuver is really nice. Well, there's a
Hey.
lot of, like, there's so much deep concepts in this game. Thanks for the follow,
Yeah.
PCJ.
Yeah. PCJ, thanks for the follow, man. Welcome to the stream. Fisher Friday. Hope you're a Fisher fan. We just finished. We just finished the game.
Yep.
Stream starts every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be doing this for about another 55 weeks, 54 weeks. We're going over Bobby Fischer's classic book, a must-have book if you're a real chess enthusiast and want to get better, is My Memorable 60 Memorable Games.
check,
And my co-host tonight is Mr. Chess Comet.
Yep.
Here's his link to his channel. go give him a follow, and you'll get all the live updates when he goes live. And we appreciate your support, man. Thanks for being here.
Oh, no problem. It's an honor as always. I'm a big Fischer fan myself.
Yeah, and you explain it well. I think you.
Thank you.
I think your voice and the way the it's hard to put a word on this. It's like something you can't teach a teacher or something. Like it's just something you have to have. You know, I think
it's sort of like
you have that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people would agree.
I guess it's sort of like where I kind of try to think like, because like, really the main difference between like skill levels is just, at least in my opinion, it's knowledge.
Mm-hmm. I totally believe knowledge is king.
I feel like I'm similar in level, but I just know knowledge, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I started earlier probably. But you can definitely catch up.
I think that's how we get to our next levels as chess players. That's how
Yeah.
1200 gets to a 1400. 1400 gets to a 1600. He's got to keep studying. He's got to keep learning.
Check.
You
Yeah.
know?
And knowledge, at least in my experience, makes things easier. At least in finding the moves.
Yeah, I mean, and then once you go over these fundamentals, principles, themes of certain positions, you know, your tactics, pins, skill words, you know, you start learning all these things. You can identify them more during the game because it is a lot to think about for a guy who hasn't been playing that long. All the stuff that we go over during a live game where there's a clock ticking, you know, and you're trying to think
Yes.
about all the stuff at once. It's not going to happen. But with the more games played, and the more experience and practice, it starts to come natural, I think.
Exactly.
Because you know, Capablanca said you're going to have to lose thousands of games before you can get good at chess.
Oh yeah, definitely. Study the old games of the Masters is what he said, I think. And also Endgame, of course.
Oh yeah, definitely said that. And that's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Because I was losing in the end game when I was winning.
Oh boy.
I didn't know how to convert. But now
Well, it's because like the Endgame, it's like very weird. Like you have to think completely differently.
yeah, it's also
It's like
it's that quote too. Play the opening like a book, the middle game like a magician, and the ending like a machine. You
yeah,
have to be very precise in the end game.
more of a different calculation skill in a way.
Yeah.
Like I think I read its move selection method, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely something really cool.
Yeah, I love all that stuff. So, hey, we're doing good, Kudo. We're probably getting ready to wrap up here. We just spent 2 hours on one of Fischer's games here from his book. It's going to be on VOD.
You could definitely check it out.
Because we're doing this every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is our fifth game out of the Bobby Fischer My 60 Memorable Games book. So there's still a lot more to learn from Fischer.
This is a very deep game. Like at least in my like for me, like there are so many ideas in this game. Like it's
Yeah,
really crazy.
I couldn't get everything. Like when you were trying to get me
Even
to,
me.
You were
It's
trying
alright.
to get me to find stuff. I'm just not there. But I love the challenge, and that's why I like when we do this because it
Yeah.
makes me use my brain, and that's why I love chess.
Oh, one cool thing to train on your own is try to guess the move. Like you can just pick like any random game
Mm-hmm.
and just try to guess like every so often the moves of the Grandmasters, and you
Okay.
can reward yourself like some points. You can say like you'll give yourself maybe 5 points a correct move or something, and just try to see, and maybe 4 points for a semi-correct move or something,
That's interesting.
and just try to see how many points you can get. That's the move in the USCF chess magazines actually. Like if you remember, like in
I
the
am.
magazine.
And they ain't been sending me my actual copies of my magazine, man. I need to contact them about that.
Yeah, they have to get you those because they have special pages of that book where you can do guess the move, and it's a really fun activity. Definitely, it's just It's actually a really cool streamable one too. You can probably have everyone in the stream guess the moves or something.
Yeah, they always
and
send me
reward
the digital
points.
copy, but I want the physical copy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, that's you know, something I like. I like stuff like that.
Yeah. I think for me, I've been doing that. Like for me, I think that's probably why I'm hopefully okay at. Because like I do a lot of these guess the moves, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say you're fairly pretty good, man.
Thanks.
Kudos says he's got that book.
Oh, you got the book? Yeah, it's definitely an incredible book.
I have to get the book.
Yep. It's definitely fun to just bring with you too, like just anywhere.
I'd love to walk into like a second-hand store or something and just find it sitting on the shelf with all this dust on there or something.
Huh.
And flipped open the page and it's signed.
By chance. Like, I got my book by chance. Like, someone on Facebook, there's this group for Facebook chess collectors. New York, like 3 hours south of me, was selling like 50 chess books. So I drove like all that way and paid like $50 for like
Nice.
my 60 memorable games was in it.
Nice.
So
All
what else
right.
is in it isn't correct. I would guess, but I think a lot of GMs did say it was very like pretty correct. Real incorrect one was his game where it was I think there was only one thing I know that was pointed out, but other than that, he did this without an engine, and most of it is
Oh,
very
yeah.
accurate.
See, somebody's always.
Incredible.
All
Like
right.
doing this, like making this book without an engine, like that's really, really hard.
Yeah, and he's like going back to his room doing it on his own.
Yeah.
check,
You know? And that's what I understand. Like, you gotta respect somebody like that, man.
Exactly.
So it's kind of weird. We got the suggestion to rate all over chess
Yep.
earlier by Mouse Cattell. So I've never seen her on at this time. It's always like 2 in the morning for me. My time.
Oh yeah, I know.
What's
It's cool to
going on?
see.
Is this a special
Yeah.
stream? Grinding to 1700 Blitz. Quiet stream.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Because I know she has been getting distracted by chat
Yeah.
lately. Harlem
Oh, yeah.
also. Wait. No, Harlem's just been running reruns for like 3 days now. You sure he's actually
Yeah.
live?
Oh, he is live.
How's he live? He's live?
Yeah, Harlem's live. Homework on a Friday night. Study plan number 1. Orlova's live. Grinding to 700. And also, Japanese tutors on.
Well, JT, he's built a guild community. He's got a big community. He's gonna have like 100 people in there in a little bit.
Oh, he probably will. Yeah.
So
And-
I'm thinking the way and then you got all over 21, Harlem at 30. I'm like, that's a hard choice, guys.
Yeah, they're close.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh,
Oh.
a family member of hers passed away.
Yeah.
I thought it was because I know that's somebody because she's a WGM and her rating was like only like 1300, and then but she always says her rating's low because she always gets caught up in chat and runs out of time.
Yeah.
You know, she always that's her time right now. I thought maybe she meant like quiet stream, like if you see on the phone, like you can see there's no camera up or nothing. So that's what I thought. Her uncle died, so she did one. Okay, yeah, which is logical, yeah. And she's just probably trying to, take out some aggression and
Yeah, let's go. I think we should
yeah, we
check
should just
her
rate
out,
her,
actually.
right? We just rate her.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's like a good plan.
Yeah.
Give some support.
Yeah. Let's go show her some love and support, like you guys show me, and we'll go over and hang out on her stream. So let me type her in here. Or what is it? Or Nova. Okay, there she is. Alright guys, thanks for everybody coming out. Thanks for supporting me and Chess Comet on our venture to 60 weeks of my 6 Remember Games by Mr. Bobby Fischer. I think it was a good game. I learned some stuff. I hope you guys did too. Thanks for all the new follows. Thanks for Celtic Frost for gifting Chess Comet a tier 1 subscription to the channel. And always a special thank you I have to give to my guy, Mr. Chess Comet himself, Thank you so much for doing this with me, man. I love always having you on the show. You're a great teacher, and you're just a great person all around, man.
Thank you very much. It's an honor, man.
And I can't wait to see what you got in store for us next Friday.
Oh, yes.
But let's go over and show Miss Orlova some support, man. She sounds like she needs it. So we're gonna go hang out on her stream, and we're gonna rate her. So we'll see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Have a good one. Peace.